Ag PhD full episodes and more are now available on Acres TV, the newest ag platform connecting you to fields of information. Look for us on watchacrestv.com.
During our Farm Basics time today, we're going to talk about the most asked question we always get about soil organic matter. Why, when you till organic material into the ground, does organic matter decrease instead of increase? Doesn't make sense, Darren.
Well, okay, first of all, there's a couple of terms that seem very close together: organic material and organic matter. Now, let's take a corn crop. You harvest the corn, you take the grain off, you leave the corn stalks laying out in the field. There's a lot of residue out there, and a lot of folks will say, wow, I've got a lot of organic matter right there. No, you have organic material. And that organic material, some of it, like maybe 1% of what's laying on top of the ground, will eventually become organic matter. They're two different things. So talk to us a little bit. What is organic matter?
Organic matter is basically just decomposed organic material. And that material could be plant-based, animal-based. I mean, there are a lot of ways that we can get organic matter that's down in the soil, but it has to be fully broken down. So anyway, to answer our question very specifically here, why when you do tillage, and even when you have that organic material on the soil surface, you put that down in the ground. So a lot of people say, oh, I'm going to increase my organic matter. No, it's going to be the exact opposite. Here's why. What soil scientists have always told me is when you do tillage, you're injecting a whole bunch more air in the soil. It's kind of like adding fuel to the fire, and you speed that process of organic matter decomposition even further. You're breaking down that organic matter even further, and you basically disintegrate it. So this is the reason why in the United States, for about 100 straight years, when we were doing lots and lots of tillage, up until maybe the last 20 years, organic matter levels just continued to decrease in our soil. Now we're in a lot better shape. We're reducing tillage. Now you're actually seeing organic matter levels rise in a lot of fields.
Well, you think about what's actually doing the work in your soil. It's microbes. Soil microbes need oxygen to live, and in that aerobic zone where you've got lots of oxygen in the soil, well, that's where they're going to break down any of the residue that made it down into the soil. They're going to take oxygen so they can breathe. They're going to go attack that carbon source, and they're going to break it down into all the nutrients that are in that stock, which is wonderful for growing crops. But the more oxygen you put in there, the faster you get all that activity to happen, as Brian was saying. And so, yeah, doing tillage really does speed up that process.
Here's the other big thing that studies have found. Most organic matter is going to start as plant roots. It's not so much that above ground residue. When you see all that above ground residue, that's more about protecting the soil from erosion. If you leave roots intact below the ground, that is more likely to become organic matter over time. So again, reducing tillage, and I know it seems weird, but reducing tillage is going to increase your soil organic matter faster. The more tillage you do, the less chance you have for organic matter buildup, the more chance you have for organic matter to disintegrate over time.
Well, I wish it was that easy, Brian, for getting rid of weeds. If the microbes in the soil would just wipe them out so we don't have to deal with them, I would appreciate that. But this tough weed is still out there in the field, so we know we have to do something else. Can you identify this week's Weed of the Week?